Hey guys, welcome to class 3. This is a list of all the things that I would like to cover. Of course, we will not cover everything because, for example, some of them require one class, 1 hour class or 2 hour class just for that topic. But at least I want to have a list of all the things that I need to do in this system. The first thing that I want to cover is a small issue that we have with the mannequins. All of them except the Unreal Engine 4 male mannequin. The metahumans and the female mannequins are slightly above the floor. We will fix that first. And next, we need to do some refactor because remember that we add a lot of mutable functions in the construction script of our pawn. We will move those to the character creation component, but before that we need to create the assembler function, and before that we should add the data table logic, and before that we should add the primary data table object, and before that we need to add some struct with some variables we need to create and some enums to create the primary data assets, to create the data table, to create the assembler function in the correct way. Of course, all this will require more than one class. So my idea is to just do the first part. Okay, just move everything to the component. It will not look pretty, but at least we will have everything in our component, and we will have only the basic stuff on the pawn. Next, we will implement our save and export functions because after we customize our character, we will hit the play button and we will load the game animation sample project. And the idea is that that character loads our character customization. Yeah, that's actually quite easy to do. What next? I would love to do this, but I don't know if we will have the time. Same with this. Oh, we can do some of this. We can create all the functions that modify parameters inside mutable. Is similar to the one that we did at the construction script that we will move to the component. So we can do that and have them ready when we will use them later on the, for example, here. So what else? Some people at Reddit and basically everywhere are asking me for a replication system. Okay, I will take some minutes of this class to explain something. In some cases you need replications, in some cases you don't. I will explain it in detail when I decided to cover replication. It will be an entire class of replication. If you want to make a solo game, you don't need replication. If you want to make a MOBA style game with predefining character and skin, you don't need replication. Hey, wait, Martin, the replication multiplier is no, it's not the same. To have a replicate game doesn't mean that every single thing that you have in that project needs to be replicated. I will explain it in detail, but you need to replicate some stuff of the mutable component, of the mutable plugin, and some doesn't. If you have pre-baked characters, instances, for example, you have 9 characters, so you will have 9 customizable object instance already created. baked, you don't need replication because every single person that has the client will have all those characters with their skins. And the only thing that switch between one and the other is that some of them unlock some characters and other doesn't. So if you have that kind of setup, you don't need a replication system. You just bake the characters and load and lock and unlock them. Replication will be needed if we want to create a system like an MMO where you can, well, not everyone, not every MMO, but for example, when you want to create a character and you have the option to change the air, the eyes, the position, the size of the arms, all that stuff, and each one on every character on the server is different. In that case, we will need to do some replication. Okay, what else? Well, yes, I have a lot of stuff to do, like, I don't know, live and survive. Let's say survive. Okay, let's get started. Okay, here the creation poem. Open it and select front here. Okay, so you can see the in relation for mannequin is touching the floor. And if we go here, this is temporal, of course, disconnect this. We can see the UFN mannequin is also touching the floor. But if we select the human female, let's see, here is slightly above the ground. And we can check that. Here, just give me a second. Select, look at the feeds. Male, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me see. Female, yes, slightly above the floor. This is Roy, and this is Liz. We need to fix that. So, the problem is that the UFN mannequin is always touching the floor. Change here. We have some offset from the ground, but the UFN mannequin is in the right position. So we need to raise this mesh, but not this one. Okay, the same goes for Roy. There. I don't know if you can see it. Here the feet is slightly above the ground. Okay. I will just connect this again so we can see only that. You know that it's slightly above. So let's fix this one by one. For the female, let me check. This would be this one, not the one that has the UFN mannequin, but the one that has the female mannequin. I use -1. Okay. So I will select here -1. There. Roy was Roy. minus 1.5. Here in the MetaHuman, select the body, not the one with the UFM mannequin, but the first skeletal mesh. The first skeletal mesh that has a MetaHuman, of course, will be the body. Minus 1.5 there. This is minus 2 this. Let me show you this. Minus 2, but this is because I already has minus 2. Sorry, I changed it, but I didn't reset it. So you should have the thing here. So you set it to minus 2, and you are good to go. Okay, compile and save. So now it's correct. If I click play and detach from the camera, you can see that the female is touching the ground, Roy is touching the ground there, and Liz maybe 2.1. Yes. Okay, let's use Liz minus 2.1. Okay. Add the number that you wish. I will set it like this, 2.1. Here is 2.1. Okay. Point two. It's 2.2. Okay. Yes. Yes, 2.2. That's a value. So let's go back here. Select this and set 2.2. Minus 2.2. Okay. Problem solved. Next, we need to fix this. That is not broken, but it's not pretty. Go to the VPC character creation, make some space here, the branch, there, and we need to create a new function for character assembler, and we will call it after the load bound if we are succeed. Okay, and then we connect all the rest of the logic. And what we're going to do is to copy this, Ctrl C, and inside here, Ctrl B. And now we need to do some things. The first thing is to collapse all this into a function. Yes, I know we add a function inside a function because we have to do some other stuff here. This will be called set customizable object, and let's add all the things that we're missing here. Okay, this should be a skeletal mesh component. So we add a new variable. Object reference. I don't remember the name. Skeletal mesh. Okay. Skeletal mesh, and it's a skeletal mesh component. Okay. A new input called skeletal mesh component. Mesh. And connect this here and connect this here. what name? This the customizable object instance and the name. So we need to, I will just grab this and connect this here, there and there. Let me check the names. This is customizable object, this component name. Remove. It's an instance, but I will just select a shorter name. Okay, give me a second that I will just clean this. Okay, there. Okay, just connect this here, and here you can extend and search for get skeletal mesh, this one, or the name that you have here. You find it like that. You can check that it's the correct one because this has this arrow and an F there, which means that this is the actual input here. Connect the customizable object here, and here, be careful, it's a customizable object is an usage, the same that we have here. Okay, and connect it to the touch 2 to the set customizable object instance and the set component. And we have to do one thing, and we will add a map here. Okay, yes, we need to, from here, update skeletal mesh async. So if we want that all these changes take place, we need to update skeletal mesh. It's just like that. Technically that's all, but I want a map that compares or use the skeletal mesh as key and the customizable object instance as value, because I have to do some stuff later. So here variables, create a new variable called body map and search for skeletal mesh component there, this one, object reference, and it will be a map and the values the thing customizable object instance usage, customizable object instance usage, the second one, object reference, basically the same as this one. Now grab the body map, add it here. Okay, and this is a skeletal mesh, so it will be this one. That's the key, and the value is the thing here. If you cannot connect all this like that, it means that you are selecting the wrong variable type in the key and in the value. Okay, so be careful with that. There. So basically we are creating a customizable object instance usage. Okay, just like here. We are attaching it to the skeletal mesh that we add here. We are setting the instance. We choose the instance here, and we set the component name based on what we have here, and then we will add it to the body map that we will create, and then update the skeletal mesh async. Let me check here. Yes, that's all. That's all. And return. So now we have the skeletal mesh. We have the sorry. We can add the skeletal mesh here. We can select the customizable object instance. You can see that now I have the MetaHuman male and female and the component. Okay, now we need 4 of this one. with 4. Connect them like this. I will make a sequence there. On top is metahuman male and metahuman male, and below metahuman female and metahuman female. As you can see, the same as here. Okay, let's disconnect this. So here's the thing. After we load the pawn and we have the reference, we run the character assembler. So now it's safe to call the creation pawn because we set it before, and only if we have succeed we can run the function, and we succeed if we have a valid character. So we don't need to do a valid check for this, and we'll search for boy body. I say Roy body there. This is the skeletal mesh, and the name was male body. So we will basically replicate everything inside our component there. And from male here, other Roy face. Roy face. And below we will do the same for Liz. This body, and its face. And here is metahuman male because it's Roy, and here it should be metahuman female and metahuman female, and the names are female body, careful with the name, female here, there. So we have replicate. I will not say replicate because people think that we're actually doing some multiplayer stuff. I have copy the logic of the last class, or I will say we migrate the logic, so we don't need all these. There, save. So if I disconnect this and try to play this, we don't have royal list. Sorry, why I have royal list? I just, no, it's not here, it's not here. Why is actually loading if there is nothing that, because here, yes, it's like remembering the everything here. So I will just, it's in 00, yes, I will just delete this and grab it again and search for 00 there. Now I shouldn't see royal list. Yes, they are not there because our creation controller has no information about no controller, no pawn, sorry, has no information about mutable Roy body, nothing here, and Roy face, nothing on the cache, nothing anywhere. So if we connect this here again and play, we have Roy and have Liz. Okay, so the idea is to remove everything from the bound except what is truly necessary. For now, I will just keep the Unreal Engine 4 mannequin and Unreal Engine 5, sorry, Unreal Engine 4 male mannequin and Unreal Engine 4 female mannequin. But I will migrate those as well, and I will leave this just like this. You can check it, compare it to your code, and we'll continue. Before we continue with our multiple object, I want you to see what I am actually doing in this function. First, we are not getting the raw body or the raw face, just an array, and that array is generated here. And what I do is to check the root for all the children components, and I select those who are of the same type of VPC character assembler, which is this thing here, which is something that basically, let me show you, replace all this setup. Okay, this is same component as an asset with information about meshes, multiple stuff, material, and everything, and I add them here dynamically. So what I did here is to check if I have already one of those, and if I do have some of those, because it's not emptying the array, I initialize, and basically it's a set of instructions that is creating the skeletal mesh, and it's complex. And then I check all the characters that I want to add in their corresponding data asset, and I repeat the logic and do some other stuff. But the important thing is that this DA character to load variable, this array, has all the possible characters that I want the system to load every time I hit the play button. And the reason why I designed the system like this is because now I can have an array and append another one with other characters. So for example, let's suppose that I want these 4 characters to be available on a new game, but when we reach a certain level or after we obtain a certain achievement, add new characters. Okay, and if we don't modify the array itself. So this allow me to add characters dynamically on the gameplay and unlock new characters. It's actually not only flexible, but someone at the Discord at the Reddit say that he wants that some options like ears or I don't know, suits to be available only after a certain point in the game. And I already have all this set up, and I think yes, it's actually quite simple because all the options inside the multiple plugin are variables like enums, ints, booleans, and the same way that I changed the number of characters initially available for the player, I can also set a set of parameters inside the mutable object to be available on the first run, and some block and ready to be unlocked later, depending on certain circumstances. Everything is modular, and that you have the possibility to lock and unlock stuff inside the system. Okay, back to our project. We will leave this like this. And here, the first thing that I want to do is to rename all this, because this will be just one character. Okay, this is an instance. We will have several instances. So the female will be Liz and the male will be Roy. And open this customizable object called character. And we will do a few things here. But first, let's create here two folders. Let's call them MetaHuman Male and MetaHuman Female. And inside here are two mutable objects, customizable objects. And call them customizable object MetaHuman Male Bodies. Okay, Control C, Control V, and this will be male heads. Okay, now I will just select this, Control C, go to female, Control V, and change male for female bodies and female heads. So we have customizable object male bodies, heads, female bodies, female heads. Okay, and now we need to add all this code there. So let's start with the male. I will open the body here and let's do some stuff. Okay, here select all this, Control C, go to my bodies, Control B, and here we will export component pin, and the name will be body. Don't change anything here. Compile and save. Same for the female, Control C, go to female bodies, Control V, export pin, same name, body. The important one is the component name, is female body, which is the one that we use in here. That's the real important one. So here we can delete all this and search for component, import component pin. Okay, the one, and we'll select our male bodies. Okay, and here our body. Take little mesh, the mesh section, mesh component, and just one export component pin, and leave this just by default. And here we select the male bodies and the bodies and check this here. Control C, Control V, and now we will select the female body, this one, and the body there. So in essence, it's the same thing. We're doing just the same, but the cool part of all this is, give me a second that is compiled, is that any future changes will be done inside this mutable object or component customizable object, not inside this spaghetti that we have here. So this works like a function. Okay, these are basically functions, but they have the potential to become something like the master customizable object. I will explain it to you in a few seconds. Just let me finish this. Here, Control C, and this is the Roy face here. be export pin. This will be the head. Actually, you can select whatever name you want. Save. I will add a new component switch there and disconnect this one here, and I will again do the same, but here is not the body but the male head, and we'll select here. So this is ready, this is ready. Okay, now female. See, go to female head, and export component bin, again head, and save. We have our female head here, it's the male head, and we can delete this. Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, and select female head, and compile. And it's working. Before we continue, I wanted to show you some things here at the Mutovel documentation. For MetaHumans, they recommend to enable 16-bit bond weights and those influence modify inside the default mutable.ini. So let me show you how we will change that. Basically, it's go to engine plugins mutable config default mutable.ini. Go to, in your case, it's C, program file Epic Games 5.5, engine plugins mutable config. Okay, plugins mutable config default mutable, and here, if I remember correctly, this is commented. I enable it and select 12. Don't forget to restart the editor after you've made all the changes here, and we need to enable this in our object properties in all the customizable objects that use MetaHumans. So open character, 16 bond weights, this two, this two, this, and this. Okay, and compile and save all of them. Additionally, if you want, you can enable the RefLogic extension DNA plugin. I have it, so I am playing with it, but it's up to you. And grooms, yes, please enable groom extension for mutable. Okay, it's this one, enable it and restart the editor. If you have enabled the groom plugin for mutable, you will see this here. And if you enable the RefLogic DNA, you will see this here. And if you enable both, you will see both. Here in MetaHuman Mail, create a new, where is mutable customizable object, and call it COMH mailgrooms. Okay. There, and we'll copy it to female, copy, and rename it male for female. Okay, there. This to open the male and the female, male and female. Okay, and we'll use a new node called groom. Sorry, constant. You see this experimental text with a golden background? This means that we will use a groom, we will add all the basic groom that we have with our MetaHumans, but I don't want to dig too much into the groom setup because I don't know how much of all this work will have to be replaced later after they change stuff here. But we will set up a basic groom system here. So I will just copy this and paste it several times in both, and I will show you the final results. Okay, there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here slashes H brown, fuzz, mustache, and bear, but I will leave unconnected mustache and bear because my MetaHuman actually, this row, it doesn't have a bear. But well, and I will rename this to Mailgrooms. Compile and save, and I will just copy this and paste this here and connect everything again. And rename this to Mailgrooms, and I will just delete bear and mustache because to be honest, I will not use a bearded female, but if you want to keep it, it's up to you. Okay, now before we start filling all this information, it will take a while, let's open the SEO character and I will show you something different. Right click and select, sorry, not from object group, and we'll call it grooms, and the type will be one or none. Okay, the default value, we don't have a value yet, and here in our mail grooms, select this base object, and here select SEO character and grooms. Okay, we're linking this object with our parent one, but we're doing it inside our Mailgroom. It is a bit different. Here we select the component and then we link this node basically to our customizable object, but the object group works differently. You need to link it inside the node where you want to target this object group. It's a bit tricky, but it's work. So SEO character grooms, female, SEO character grooms, compile and save. Give me a second. Experimental, compile and save. Look, we are already seeing the character here, and we have nothing here at all. It's empty. And here, as you can see, we have our external object, our grooms, both male and female. Okay, to children, so not grooms, because we're using the input groom in the parent, in the node that is attached to this object group. It's different. You can actually select all these and add it to a child object and there to the grooms, but you will have a spaghetti of errors in no time. The component name of the groom is the, so if we have a component name here, it will be the one that you have, if you remember correctly, here. But in this case, the grooms will search for all the nodes, component, and everything connected to this base object, and it will search backward to all these possible components that you have there for the name that you select inside the customizable object targeted to this group. I will explain it in a little. So it's a mail head basically. Component name mail head, rooms, and I will select mail head. Okay, and you will have to do the same for all the remaining. But before that, I will just close this and this. And here we have Roy. And as you can see, the error consists in a binding asset, a groom asset, and some materials. So I will link this groom asset, this one, here, okay, in the groom asset section. And I will repeat all this material setup inside this override material. So you have 1 through 3. So let me check now. You have to select the material and then select it here. Let me try copy. I don't think that this is gonna work. No, of course not. How naive. 01 here, and helmet is the second one. So 1 is there, 0 is there, 1 is the car, 2 is the helmet, just like here. So binding asset, here's the problem. Every binding asset has a target skeletal mesh, and although you can actually change it on the fly, for example here you can search for set binding asset and change it. It doesn't work. All the time I try to do it, only in a few occasions it's actually working. My recommendation is that you set the binding asset, you set the mesh, the head mesh directly on the binding asset, and then make a copy for another mesh, for example. So this is what I'm going to do. I will copy this RS casual binding inside my Roy folder, character creation code character Roy, copy, and I will create a new folder, call it groom bindings, and place it there, open it, but instead of the Roy face mesh, the default one, I will just use this copy. So now this binding actually targets my head mesh, the head mesh that I am using in my mutable object or customizable object. So here at grooms, groom constant, and now I can select this binding there. So compile and save, and now if I select mail grooms, we have the grooms. Yeah, compile and save. Actually, I will just clean this. I will tell you in a second why. Because that's the work of the. First, I will compile these two, because we have a change here, and here in Roy we now have rooms here, mail rooms, and because we have only one rooms, when error, we just select that. Okay, let me see if it's actually working. Yes, it's working. Pay no attention to this. I will change. You will see that after you compile everything and set a few things, this will disappear. Okay, I have just looked into DaVinci Resolve. We're 50 minutes already. I have been recording this class the whole day. I'm tired. There's no way that I could possibly cover all the remaining rooms. So I was thinking, Martin, what do you do when you have no time left, but you still have to cover a lot of topics? And I have two Martins, one in my right shoulder and another in my left shoulder, the good and the bad one. And the bad one say, homework. So yes, I will give you some homework because you are my students, and I always give my students homework, but not always, but sometimes, especially when I have no time left. So your homework will be to do the same that I did here in all the remaining rooms. Okay, not mustache and beard because I have no beards on with Roy, but if you have one, the only thing that I want you to pay attention with is that the component name when you actually work with the female group is not male head but female head. But that's your homework. You will have to do all the remaining rows, okay, for the male and the female. And here at least you also need to save it and select the female group, okay, not the male one, because if you select the male one, the AR will try to look for the row here, so it will technically it will stay on the ground. Let me see. No, it's not even there. So it doesn't work because you don't have the row face there, okay, like this. So that's your homework. If you have any question about your homework or any part of the video, you can ask in the video's comment here at YouTube, or if you want some assistance with your problem, I have a forum called School where you can actually place your question or whatever problem that you have. Whenever I have time, I will try to look into it. So you're more than welcome to come here and ask any question about any of my videos. And that's everything. So I will see you in the next class.